You draw in the faintest breath as the door behind me hushes itself closed, sealing off the outside world. Warm candle glow pools across polished wood, and the air is already fragrant with a hint of lavender and the softer, sweeter trace of chamomile. I let the quiet linger, only the low murmur of distant water trickling somewhere behind the wall joins our shared stillness, until even your thoughts seem to sigh and settle. My voice drops to a hushed thread, close to your ear but never startling, just a silky promise that hovers without weight. Tonight, you're in my safe hands. The padded cradle cushions your face, while the table beneath you breathes warmth into your chest. Beneath my fingertips, a fine linen sheet drapes across the contours of your back. I slide one hand beneath the towel resting over your shoulders, feeling the tiniest tremor of tension hiding there. My other hand finds the dark amber bottle beside the candles, tilting it until a single ribbon of oil grazes your skin. It spreads in a slow, lazy path, meeting the curve of your neck with a gentle shine. Tell me if this feels just a little too warm, I whisper, pausing long enough for the question to settle. And you answer in that comfortable quiet only I hear. Good, just right. My words soften even more. That's perfect. Let it sink in. Let it invite every tight little muscle to loosen for me. My thumbs begin their exploration at the base of your skull, drawing tiny arcs that melt downward. Each motion glides as though guided by invisible silk threads. No hurry, no force, just a tender coaxing that teaches nerves to release. Beneath the pad of my left thumb, I sense a knot, perhaps the echo of too many hours hunched over screens or steering wheels or half-finished worries. I breathe, as if responding to the story your muscles tell. I can feel that heavy patch right here. We'll teach it to let go together. A delicate inhale, the candles answer in their patient flicker. My palms flatten along the tops of your shoulders, drawing gentle pressure outward before slipping down along your arms, only to glide back up with even slower devotion. The room's subtle spa music rests on a single faint chord now, almost unnoticed, yet swirling like a lullaby around our hush. Did something in your day cling to you a little tighter than usual? I ask, voice brushing past your ear like a feather drifting down. You can think about it for just a moment if you want, then breathe it away with me. I pause, letting silence do its own sweet work. Together we follow the next inhale, drawn deep, held for 3 slow counts. Then you sigh it out, and with it goes a fragment of burden. My hands trace your breath's departure, fingertips sliding in gentle figure eights across the expanse of your upper back. The linen beneath you warms to match your skin. The subtle scent of almond oil mingles with the earlier lavender, becoming something uniquely tonight. I lean closer, so that every word pours directly into the cradle of your consciousness, bypassing any tension that still dares to linger. I'm going to smooth along your traps now, I whisper, as though relaying a precious secret. Whenever my thumbs circle inward, picture the knots untying themselves like tiny ribbons falling free. The pads of my thumbs press, firm yet tender, kneading small crescents into the thick ridges that drape your shoulders. Tiny pops of release hide beneath the surface. Each time they surrender, a soft relief radiates outward, blooming through fibers and sinew. That's it. Good. My encouragement flows like water, measuring the moments so they stretch and soften. I drift my attention lower, following the natural valley of your spine. One hand steadies at the center of your back, while the other sweeps slow, symmetrical strokes down along the right side, then the left, always returning to center, as if tethered by calm gravity. I pause, letting my fingertips rest without movement, simply absorbing the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Can you feel the table supporting you completely? I murmur. Notice how it never asks anything in return, much like the night sky above the city. It just holds you. A subtle hum colors the stillness, maybe the distant ventilation or a passing car outside, muffled beyond recognition. Even that faint hum feels like part of our lullaby. A fresh trickle of oil warms between my palms. I rub them together overhead, releasing a barely audible whisper of friction that smells faintly of sweet orange peel now, mingling new comfort with the lavender. When I place both palms at the base of your neck, they arrive like two gentle stones heated by sun, resting only long enough for the warmth to seep through flesh and into bone. I tuck a stray lock of my own hair behind my ear. The movement stirs the air just enough that you might imagine the flicker of the candle shifting shadows across the wall. I'm so glad you made time for yourself tonight, I breathe. A lot of people forget they deserve moments like this, but you remembered, and now your body is thanking you. My thumbs sweep outward, meeting the rounded tops of your shoulders, then trace back inward along barely perceptible lines. The motion repeats, slower each time, like waves that take longer to break as the tide recedes. On every return stroke, pressure lightens until finally my hands hover, not quite touching, letting the heat my skin left behind finish the story. Your next inhale comes easier, fuller. There, I coax. Let it fill you all the way to the edges. No rush. You have nothing to chase here. I wait through 3 beats of quiet and exhale. When you sigh that breath away, I sense your ribcage drift a little lower. The last stubborn knot under my left thumb loosens with a soft surrender, and I can't help but smile. Feels better, doesn't it? I ask, the question feather-light, rhetorical in its knowing. I slide a fingertip along the towel draping your lower back, neatening its edge so no chill can sneak beneath the warm air pocket gathered there. Then, from the little bowl beside the candles, I scoop a whisper of whipped cocoa shea butter, fluffy and pale, releasing a comforting sweetness into the room. I let you hear the faintest sigh of it melting between my palms before those palms settle at the tops of your arms. I'm going to treat your triceps for a moment, I murmur, voice dipping as if keeping a sacred confidence. Fingers glide along the length of your upper arms, coaxing away the stiffness of daily tasks you didn't even realize you held. My thumbs spiral in slow motions, tracing down toward your elbow, then back, each circle slightly larger, until the entire muscle sighs beneath the rhythm. A minute later, I lift one hand to brush invisible dust from your forearm. Light, almost playful, a tiny flutter that invites a fleeting smile. You carry more strength here than you know, I whisper, and tonight, even strength gets to rest. The candles crackle imperceptibly, or maybe that's just the imagined sound of wax adjusting to heat. Either way, it becomes a gentle punctuation to my next slow breath. I move to the top of your spine again, this time placing my right palm flat, while my left trails gentle lines down the spaces between ribs, feather-light strokes that mirror the pace of your heartbeat. Let's take 3 breaths together, I suggest, leaning so close my words almost merge with the warmth of my exhale. In, 2, 3, hold, and out. 2, 3. I repeat, my hands synchronizing gentle pressure with each inhalation, releasing with each exhale, coaxing a rhythm your body soon claims as its own. Your shoulders sink another fraction. I feel the table receive that weight with silent acceptance. Beautiful, I whisper. Every time you surrender an ounce of tension, sleep comes closer, like a soft tide inching up warm sand. I switch sides, moving my stance with quiet footsteps that barely disturb the distant water feature. My fingers skim the back of your neck, then I knead tiny circles where shoulder meets spine, slowing even further, letting time blur. Tell me, I breathe, right here, under my thumb, does that feel tender? A pause to imagine your murmured assent. I can feel the way that knot tries to hide. My words fall slower still. Watch what happens when we persuade it gently. I deepen pressure ever so slightly, never enough to sting, then hold. A beat, 2, 3, then release in a long, unbroken glide that draws remnants of tightness out beneath my fingertips, dissolving into the oil's sheen. There we go. Gone, I croon. You did beautifully. Your breathing lengthens, threading the room with a soft, steady hush. I breathe with you, letting silence reign for a dozen heartbeats, only the gentle water and the secret song of candle flame to keep us company. When I speak again, my voice is barely audible, a velvet layer over the ambient hush. If at any moment you want me to ease pressure, just breathe a little quicker, and I'll know. Or if you want deeper kindness, my lips curve in a tiny smile you might hear more than see. You can sink your breath even slower, and I'll match you. I step closer to the head of the table, leaning so that my next words sink straight down to the cradle supporting your brow. You're doing so well. Give yourself permission to drift. There's nowhere else to be, no one else to answer, just this warm cocoon of quiet. My fingers sweep delicate commas along the side of your neck, then trace downward along your clavicle where the towel begins. Hesitate only long enough to tuck the fabric a little more snugly, ensuring modesty never wavers even as care deepens. I think, I whisper, hovering near your ear, I'll share a little story with you soon. Something gentle, something night keeps secret until morning. My smile warms my words. But first, let me follow each vertebra one last time, just to make sure every step along your spine is soft as moonlight. I resume, fingertips patting the tiny bony landmarks one by one, a deliberate pilgrimage from neck to mid-back. With each subtle press, I imagine sending a pulse of comfort into marrow and memory alike. You can picture tiny lanterns lighting in each place I touch, I murmur. By the time I reach the last one, your whole back will glow warm and golden inside, and anything heavy you carried here will seem so small, so far away. My hands float back up, finishing with 2 slow palms down strokes that sweep from shoulders to lower back, gathering any stray tension as though collecting wisps of cloud, releasing them into the hush behind us. I straighten slightly, letting the silence swell again. The room feels thicker with calm now, as though we've poured tranquility into every crack between walls. I'll fetch a warm compress in just a moment, I promise in a near breath. While I do, keep breathing in that gentle, lazy way. Feel how each inhale invites warmth, and each exhale lets something unneeded drift away. I gather the small terry cloth wrap from a nearby warmer. Steam unfurls from its folds like invisible satin. Before placing it, I warn in a feather-light tone. This will feel toasty for just a heartbeat, then it'll settle into a cozy hug across your shoulders. I drape it carefully, smoothing the edges so the weight rests evenly. A faint hum edges out of your throat, soft, involuntary. I answer with a pleased whisper, I love that sound, proof your body knows it's safe here. The compress holds steady warmth, coaxing deeper softness from muscle fibers. I take a step back, letting silence cradle you while the heat sinks in. My footsteps cross the room in near silence. I dim the candles one notch, the glow easing to amber twilight. The moving shadows grow languid, painting the walls in slow motion. Returning to the table, I brush a fingertip along your forearm, a gentle check-in. Still with me, sleepy one. The playful endearment lands like a feather. Another pause to imagine your murmured assent. Good. Let's coax those shoulders a little more, then I'll share that bedtime story I promised. My hands slide beneath the compress, coaxing the warmed oil to meet new skin. This time, every stroke seems to ripple outward twice as deep, as though the muscles' gates have unlocked. My voice floats lower still, beneath even the ambient melody. Every moment in this room is yours, I remind you. Every breath belongs to your rest. My thumbs draw slow, horizontal figure eights over the tops of your shoulders. The rhythm stays steady, hypnotic, over and over. With each pass, I repeat a simple mantra under my breath, so soft you might half hear, half feel it. Safe, cherished, home. Another deep inhale. I match your pace, almost tasting the lavender chamomile in the warm air. You're doing perfectly. And soon, my words curl like steam. Soon I'll turn down the lights just a little more, and I'll find that story I tucked away just for you. But for now, let this moment be enough. Let the quiet be your lullaby. Silence settles like snow, cool and soft, broken only by the rhythmic whisper of my hands, exploring the now silken terrain of your upper back. Each pass grows slower, each breath longer, until even time seems to drowse in the hush. I sense when your muscles drift past relaxation into that gentle, floating realm between waking and sleep. The subtle sag of limbs, the nearly imperceptible lengthening of each exhale. My smile widens in quiet triumph though my voice remains nothing but a whisper. Stay just where you are, I murmur, palms lifting in a final feather-light pass that barely brushes the compress. Feel that comforting weight. Hear the faint trickle of water and the quiet hush of candles. Know you're safe. I step away, moving with reverence, so as not to disturb the fragile thread of peace. Yet before I fade completely into silence, I offer a final near baton of sound. When I come back, I promise, we'll start that little bedtime tale, one that drifts like moonlight across calm water. And then, for a time, there is nothing but warmth, scented hush, and the distant heartbeat of slow, slow music, while you float in the cradle of your own breath, trusting that gentle hands will return when the moment calls. A gentle click sounds as I set the warm compress aside. The tiniest ribbon of steam curls upward and disappears into the dim. I smooth fresh oil into my palms, bend close, and my whisper glides into the hush. All right, sleepy traveler, ready for the next part. I wait for the softest confirmation, even if it's just the slight deepening of your breath. I take it as a yes. Good. Let's wander a little farther down this path together. My fingertips drift to the base of your neck, where the edges of that earlier knot have already forgotten how to cling. I've been thinking about something while you rested, I murmur, letting my thumbs spiral outward in slow, deliberate circles. Today, on my way to the studio, I caught the scent of fresh rain on hot pavement, the kind that shimmers before the clouds even finish clearing. I smile, easing my pressure just a fraction. It reminded me how tension sometimes lingers like those clouds, but the promise of rain, that cool release, always arrives. My hands slide outward along your collarbones, then back inward, measuring the pace of your heartbeat. Speaking of promises, I add, playful softness threading my words. I promised myself I'd ask you how your shoulders feel right now. Any tender spots left? A pause while silence answers. There, just on this side. I press a bit more firmly with my right thumb. Let me nudge that for you. Tell me if it's too much. Another pause. Perfect. Breathe with me again. Slow, steady. Good. The room continues its quiet symphony. The faint trickle of water, the distant thrum of the city tucked far beyond these walls, the low chord of spa music humming like a heartbeat beneath everything. My palms flatten along your shoulder blades, gliding outward, then down, tracing gentle parentheses that cradle your ribcage. Do you feel how your breath meets my hands? I ask, voice so low it's almost part of the candle glow. Each inhale lifts my palms a fraction. Each exhale lets them drift closer to the table. That's a beautiful rhythm. Yours and mine intertwined. I shift my weight, almost imperceptibly, sliding to your left side. Knees bend, so my stance mirrors the curve of your body. One hand steadies on your upper arm, while the other trails in slow lines along the length of your latissimus, coaxing fibers to flutter open like sleepy petals. I had a client earlier who swore the universe was conspiring to keep him tense, I whisper, half amused. He said even his coffee mug felt heavier than usual. Can you imagine? A soft chuckle rumbles beneath my breath. I told him he should trade that mug for a lavender candle, set it right on his desk, and breathe instead of sip for a minute. I let that anecdote drift, punctuated by the slow sweep of my hand up toward your shoulder. He laughed, and I could practically see the weight lift off him, just from giving himself permission not to rush. My fingertips dance a slow waltz along the border where shoulder meets bicep, tracing an invisible figure eight. Each pass grows a little broader, a little slower. Occasionally I feather a thumb beneath the edge of the towel, ensuring its placement remains modest, yet freeing. How does that feel? I coax. On a scale of floating cloud to sleepy moonbeam. Another beat. Moonbeam. It is. I tease softly. We'll aim for stardust by the end. I cross to your right side, letting the floorboards sigh under a gentle step. My hand returns to the bowl of whipped cocoa she, gathering a faint scoop that melts into velvet beneath my palms. When they settle on your right shoulder, they arrive with a quiet warmth, sinking past muscle into a comfort that feels almost ancestral. You know, I muse, sometimes I think shoulders are the diary of the body. They record every shrug, every burden we lift, every time we tell ourselves to keep it together. I knead along the ridge that curves toward your neck. So tonight, let's write a new entry. All the heaviness melted away in lavender light. The subtle scent of sweet orange from earlier drifts up again, mingling with cocoa and faint caramel, weaving a scent that could lull a hurricane to sleep. My thumbs press in synchronized pulses that match 3 slow heartbeats at a time. Then they glide apart, smoothing away invisible traces. Inhale. I breathe the word, waiting through the swell of your lungs. Exhale. Your breath sounds like silk unfurling. I shift again, this time placing my hands at the very top of your spine before sliding them down in long, unbroken lines to the small of your back. At the terminus, my palms flare outward, then feather back up through the center line, as though gathering moonlight into a thread only we can see. If I could paint this moment, I confide in a whisper, your back would be a night sky, each vertebra a bright little lantern, and every time I pass my hands, another lantern lights. Do you feel them flicker on? One, and another. My voice trails, letting imagination finish the count. A soft hum of approval thrums from your chest. I echo it with a quiet I knew you'd be a wonderful canvas, I murmur. But tonight isn't about art. Tonight is about rest. My hands pause, absorbing the heat radiating up. Tell me, do you remember the last time you truly did nothing and felt good about it? Silence, except the faint water and music. That long ago, huh? My smile is audible. We'll make up for it now. I seat my palms on the sides of your rib cage, thumbs resting lightly atop the towel line. Let's try a gentle breathing exercise, only if you'd like. Another pause, a slow nod from your shoulders. Wonderful. I'll count. You follow. No pressure. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, and exhale. My hands glide downward as you release, guiding breath out and away. Again, inhale, letting your ribs bloom under my hands. 2, 3, 4, and hold. out, slow, smooth. I repeat the cadence once more, feeling each exhale carry away stray fragments of tension, like petals drifting downstream. I dip a fingertip into oil, trace a lazy spiral between your shoulder blades, leaving a thin glowing trail. I'm sketching a secret, one you'll never see, but you'll always feel. My whisper curls like smoke. Trust me, it's flattering. With 2 fingers, I expand the spiral into concentric circles that ripple across your upper back, each larger than the last, until they fade into the warm edge of the towel. My day, I say, half to myself, was full of these little spirals, people coming in wound tight, leaving uncoiled, drifting out the door like dandelion fluff. It makes me grateful I get to be the breeze. I gather the edges of the warm compress again, lifting it for just a moment to refresh the heat. A tiny hiss rises from the warmer basket. I fold the cloth, return, and place it square across your mid-back. Feel that? I croon, like lying on sun-warmed stone beside a sleepy river. My palms press gently atop the compress, imbuing the warmth deeper still. Every heartbeat under my hands reminds your muscles they can let go. They've worked enough today. They did their job. Now I do mine. My voice drops with that final period, sealing the promise. With the compress in place, I change focus to your arms. One by one, I lift them slightly from the table, rotating the shoulder joints in slow, luxuriant circles. Let me just loosen this. Good. The slow creak of tendon is silent, but I can feel the tissue unbraid itself under my fingers. I extend your forearm, cradle your hand in mine. I can see the faint moonlight of candle glow on your knuckles, I whisper. Your fingers look so peaceful, resting there. I brush my thumb across the heel of your palm, drawing figure eights that feel like infinity signs. All those tiny tendons deserve lullabies too. I gently flatten your fingers, giving each digit a slow, thoughtful pull. Just enough stretch to tell the joints they may soften into velvet. Then the arm returns to the towel with a muted sigh. At your other side, I repeat the ritual. Lift, rotate, cradle. While working, I share a soft anecdote. When I first started this job, I confide, I worried my hands would tire, but they never do, you know. They're fueled by these tiny moments, like when I see someone's fingers unconsciously uncurl, or their shoulders fall half an inch toward the table. It's like a hush that tells my whole body I'm exactly where I'm needed. I need your inner forearm in languid strokes. Right now I'm exactly where I want to be. Your breath deepens again. That's it. Sink. I return your arm to rest by your side. So, how do the muscles feel right now? I hush the question close to your ear. Any lingering tension, or just a cozy hum? A pause. I smile at the tiny exhale you offer. A cozy hum. I love that answer. I ease the compress from your back and fold it away. My palms sweep in one long, comforting stroke down either side of your spine, from nape to the towel's edge. Then lighter strokes float back up, like wind stroking long grass. You remember that bedtime story I promised earlier? I whisper, I think it's time. I slow my hands to a gentle rest, fingertips still in contact, so you feel presence without pressure. Once upon a quiet night much like this, I begin. There was a lighthouse keeper who never saw the sea except at dusk. All day he polished glass and trimmed wicks, waiting for darkness so the lamp could shine. People thought it must feel lonely, standing watch by yourself, but he said dusk was when he felt most alive, because every evening he could hear the ocean breathe. I draw slow circles at the curve where your shoulder meets your neck, illustrating the hush of waves. He'd lean on the railing, feel that salt-heavy wind slide past his skin, and whisper a greeting. Some nights the ocean answered with gull songs, some nights with nothing but hush. But always, always, he felt less alone. I slip my fingers to either side of your spine, unfolding tiny wings of tension near the scapulae. You see, the keeper once confessed a secret. He kept a jar of sea glass on his desk, little shards smoothed soft by years underwater. Whenever a storm rolled in and he was afraid, he'd plunge a hand into that jar, feel the cool edges rounded smooth, and remember that even sharp things can turn gentle in time. I let the anecdote breathe as my thumbs knead vantage points right beside your ribs. I think you and I are smoothing sharp edges tonight too, turning them into sea glass memories. My words drift to a hush. I pause, allowing silence and touch to weave thicker lullabies. The distant water feature gurgles, then subsides into hush. My hands slow to a near stop, simply cradling the warmth of your back. Tell me, I whisper, does the lighthouse keeper's calm feel a bit like ours? The night outside this room still hums with busy city currents, but in here the lamp glows steady and untroubled. I wait, imagining the small soft smile your lips might form against the cradle's cushion. Letting the story rest, I take a slow breath. When I speak again, it's barely above a breeze. You've done beautifully so far. Your shoulders softer, your breathing deeper, your mind somewhere between stars and shoreline. My palms lift, smoothing the edge of the towel once more. Before we turn you over, I'd like to coax your neck and scalp just a bit. This part is my favorite, I admit, voice tinged with affectionate mischief. It's where minds melt like chocolate in summer. My fingertips draw tiny circles, spiraling outward until they meet the curve behind your ears. If thoughts still chatter, let them float on my touch, like corks on water. They'll bob harmlessly until they drift away. A gentle hum escapes your throat. I echo with a whispering chuckle. Right there. Did you feel that release? I deepen the circles a fraction, holding steady. Let every muscle in your jaw soften, every sinew around your temples ease. My fingers tiptoe upward into your scalp, mapping tiny crescents that ripple from hairline to crown. You can almost feel each strand of hair growing a little lighter, I coax, as if the roots themselves are sighing in relief. For long, lazy moments, only that scalp massage exists. Slow kneads, delicate tugs, fingertips drawing constellations across skin. Every so often, I remind, slow breath in, softer breath out. The music seems to hush even further, as though giving us space. When your breathing evens to a lullaby's pace, I let my hands still. There, I sigh happily. You are a masterpiece of calm. I press a final warm palm across your upper back, just between the shoulder blades, and hold it there, steady, reassuring. Stay with this floating feeling, I whisper, while I prepare the linens to turn you onto your back. No rush, we'll move like drifting clouds. My palm lifts, that pocket of warmth lingers on your skin like a memory. I step away, folding fresh towels, adjusting the bolster at your ankles so they will feel weightless when you roll. The tiniest rustle of cotton is the loudest sound. Returning, I position myself at your side. All right, sleepy one, my voice returns, softer than candlelight. I'm going to guide you so gently. On 3, we'll turn you over, and I'll cradle your head in my hands. Ready? A pause. 1, 2, 3. With a slow, practiced motion, I help you roll. The linens gather beneath you in airy folds, cushioning every curve. I adjust the cradle, nesting your head like a star in velvet sky. There we go, I murmur, drawing the blanket up to your chest, tucking the sides so no whisper of chill can reach you. How's your neck? A beat. Good. Your eyes can stay closed if they like. This next part is even dreamier. I seat myself near the head of the table, cradling a folded towel beneath your neck for perfect alignment. My thumbs begin feather-light strokes from the center of your forehead toward your temples. Fingers glide over your temples. They were cooling loaves of honey oat, and the smell chased me half a block. I thought of grabbing one, but then I remembered you, and that lavender would be sweeter than bread tonight. I chuckle low, though if you ask me after this session, I might still bring a loaf next time. Warm bread and warm hands, a perfect pair, no. I slide my thumbs down the sides of your jaw, tracing gentle circles that loosen unseen clench. Open just a little, then let your jaw fall heavy. Good. My index fingers flutter down the sides of your neck, coaxing any last strands of tension to melt. You don't have to think about speaking now, I murmur. Words can sleep too. I transition to gentle strokes across your clavicle, crossing more intimate boundaries only with permission, yet always within the safe professional warmth we share. What are you carrying in that chest of yours? I ask softly, as if inviting a secret. Let it go, love. Let me feel your breath lift beneath my palms, then fall like soft snow on silent branches. My hands rise with your inhale, glide downward with your exhale, repeating until the rhythm becomes hypnotic. Minutes pass, quiet, scented, weightless. I release a long, steady sigh that seems to echo across the walls. You're floating so beautifully now, I can almost see the edges of your dreams forming. A tender smile lives in my tone. Soon we'll slip into something even softer, emotional silk to wrap around your heart. But for now, stay with this lull. Feel how each breath is a lullaby, each touch a quiet promise. My words fade into hush. I let silence reign, broken only by the faint drip of water, the gentle throb of subdued music, and the whisper of your breath. Somewhere, a candle sighs, and wax shifts. My fingers trace one final sweep across your forehead, smoothing stray locks as though tucking night itself around you. When I speak again, I whisper, letting the promise hang like mist. It will be a little closer, a little more personal. Because I want to tell you just how grateful I am that you trust these hands, this voice, this moment. I pause, letting those words sink deep. My hand rests over your heart for a heartbeat, or 3, anchoring stillness. Then, almost imperceptibly, I draw back. Only the hush remains, thick and soothing, while you hover in that gentle sea between waking and the sweetest dreams, waiting for my next soft revelation. My whisper returns like a velvet curtain drawing closer, spilling warmth across the hush. I'm right here. I breathe, fingers hovering just above your cheekbones. Let's drift even deeper, you and I, somewhere softer than dreaming, where only comfort lives. The candlelight has dimmed to an amber hush, flickering low enough that the shadows no longer dance. They simply stretch and yawn and settle. My palms meet the sides of your neck, drawing feather-light strokes from just below your ears down to your collarbones. Feel how the world narrows to this quiet pulse beneath my fingertips, I murmur. Nothing else matters, not even the ticking of time. It's just you and this gentle rhythm. I lean in, so close the scent of lavender on my breath mingles with the sweet orange lingering in the air. My words brush your ear like the softest breeze. Thank you for trusting me. I know how rare it is to let someone this close, to let someone see you when you're this unguarded. My thumbs glide upward, tracing along your jawline, easing every tiny anchor of tension. You deserve this softness, this permission to sink, to be held by the night itself. A quiet sigh gathers in my chest, slow, content, and when I release it, you might feel the air brush your cheek. Let's make a little promise, just you and me, I whisper. Tonight and every night you replay this moment in your mind, you'll remember how it felt to be cared for without condition. My fingertips feather paint the curve of your cheekbones before sweeping gently across your brow. Whatever you face today, it can wait outside this room like rain tapping on a distant window. I lower one hand to cradle your shoulder, the other settling over your heart. The warmth beneath my palm radiates like a quiet ember. Feel that steady beat. It's a lullaby older than any spoken language. I muse, voice so soft it almost blends with the hum of candle flame, and every pulse tells the same story. You are here, you are safe, you are worthy of rest. Slowly, I begin a series of tender compressions along your pectoral muscles, gentle, respectful, each press lasting the length of a heartbeat before easing. Breathe in as I press and let the pressure melt as I release. We fall into that rhythm together. Inhale, gentle press. exhale, tender lift. Perfect, I encourage. Notice how each exhale carries your heartbeat a little lower, your thoughts a little softer. My hands slide outward, fingertips brushing the very tops of your shoulders. I pinch lightly, kneading small circles that coax the last remnants of tension from where neck meets torso. You know, I murmur, there's a kind of magic in a shoulder. It bears every silent burden, every unspoken worry, yet it also remembers every embrace. My thumbs draw slow figure eights. Right now, it chooses the embrace. A hush descends. I let my touch do the talking for several heartbeats, simply holding your shoulders with a quiet steadiness that says, I smooth one palm down your arm, following the curve to your elbow, then trace back with the gentlest graze of nails. Not enough to tickle, just enough to paint a shiver of pleasant sensation. May I show your hands a little love? I ask, voice curling like incense smoke. I gather your right hand in mine, lifting it just above the blanket. This hand has written stories, opened doors, held coffee cups, maybe even cradled someone else's cheek. My thumb strokes the valley between thumb and index finger, slow circles that ease hidden tension. Tonight, let it receive. I press each knuckle, one by one, lingering as tiny joints sigh. When both arms lie heavy by your sides again, I settle one palm atop your sternum, just below your collarbones, and the other flat on your abdomen. Feel my hands rise and fall with your breath, two anchors keeping you tethered to calm. I inhale slowly, cueing you without words. You follow, chest rising beneath my hand. Beautiful. I exhale with you, and the air seems to sigh from the walls themselves. I linger in that hush, letting 10, perhaps 15, slow breaths pass, my hands occasionally shifting in gentle circles, fingers fanning like petals opening at dawn. Each motion traces quiet loops of comfort, drawing you deeper into the warm dark of near sleep. Finally, I lean in so close my hair brushes your shoulder, my whisper melts into velvet. You're drifting so exquisitely now. Let me share one more secret story before dreams claim you. I slide my hand from your chest to cradle the side of your face. Long ago, sailors believed there was a star that pulsed only for those who felt lost. They called it the heart lantern. My thumb strokes your cheekbone in time with your breath. Whenever someone felt alone at sea, they'd search the sky for that faint pulse, and the moment they saw it, they knew they were never truly adrift. I pause, letting the metaphor sink. Tonight, your heartbeat is your own heart lantern, steady, glowing, guiding you back to yourself. I brush a stray lock of hair from your forehead, tucking it gently behind your ear. Then, with infinite slowness, I bend closer until my lips hover a whisper width above your hairline. You deserve calm tonight, I breathe, words brushing skin like silk. Thank you for letting me be your lighthouse. My lips press the gentlest kiss to your brow, soft, warm, lingering just long enough to seal every promise I've made. I draw back only an inch, resting my forehead against yours for a suspended moment, sharing breath. Then my voice, no louder than a sigh, slides through the dim. Stay right here, love. Let the echo of that heartbeat guide you into starlight. My fingers trail down the side of your neck, drifting away until only heat remains. Silence swells again, thick, velvety. Even the water feature seems to hush, as though respecting the sanctity of this stillness. I let it stretch, my presence felt more in the slow orbit of warmth than in sound, until the whole world seems to rest on the soft rise and fall of your chest. After what feels like forever, yet no time at all, I whisper once more, voice fading into dream's edge. If you're still awake, notice how every part of you feels heavier, softer, safer than before. A pause, but if dreams have already wrapped around you, then let them hold you close. You've earned them. Another long hush. My fingertips return to trace airy patterns along your scalp, repeating old constellations, Orion, Lyra, maybe a new one only we know. Stars shift, I murmur, scarcely audible, but they never vanish. Just like comfort, it's always here, waiting. My strokes slow, slower, until they hover, then rest, my palms cupping either side of your head, like a cradle shaped from night itself. I hold you there, no words, no motion, only shared breath. Minutes drift, sweet and weightless. Finally, a fragile whisper. In a moment I'll guide you even deeper into rest, my sweet dreamer. But first, stay with this warmth, this hush, this promise that you are enough, exactly as you are. The words dissolve into silence, and into that sacred quiet. Segment 3 gently fades, leaving only the candle's glow, the pulse of your heartbeat, and the promise of comfort still to come. A hush settles over the room, so complete, it feels like a blanket of night itself, tucking in every flicker of candlelight until only the gentlest amber pulse remains. My breath finds your ear in the quiet. Stay right here with me, I whisper, voice softened to a velvet sigh. We've done all the deep work, now we simply drift. I smooth the linens one last time, drawing them up over your shoulders and letting them pool lightly at your chest. The weight is just enough to ground you, but never enough to confine. My hands hover a moment above the fabric, sharing their residual warmth before I let them rest, invisible but near. Feel the way the blanket kisses your skin, I murmur. Each little thread is a lullaby woven just for you. Settling myself beside you, I guide your focus inward. Let's visit those lanterns we lit along your spine earlier, I suggest, voice so quiet it's nearly thought. Picture them glowing in soft gold, each one dimming gently to a comforting ember as we count backward from 5. I wait for a sigh, then begin. 5. Warmth melts through shoulders, loosening every hinge. 4. Your arms grow pleasantly heavy, fingertips humming with quiet satisfaction. 3. The lantern at the base of your neck glows soft, releasing all thoughts that no longer serve you. 2. Your chest rises, then sinks, floating like a boat on still water. 1. Your entire body radiates calm, every lantern now a sleepy spark, guiding you deeper inside. Silence stretches. I let it linger, punctuated only by the slow wave of your breath and the distant trickle of water that now sounds as faint as memory. My palm returns to rest lightly over your heart for a final time, syncing with its steady rhythm. Listen, I breathe, barely more than a hum. Each beat is slower, steadier. You're sailing farther from daylight into a sea of velvet dreams. I ease back, fingers tracing from your collarbone up the fragile line of your throat, settling to cradle the curve of your jaw. My thumb sweeps a final, feather-light arc across your cheek. You deserve nights like this, I whisper. Nights when the world's noise fades to nothing, and the only voice you hear is the one promising you are safe, adored, and more than enough. My lips hover near your forehead again, a soft current of breath caressing the skin. Just one last touch. I place the gentlest kiss on the center of your brow, lingering, reverent, the quiet seal on every promise made tonight. Beneath my whisper, you may catch the faintest smile. There, let that kiss guard your dreams. I withdraw just slightly, letting the warmth linger. And now, love, the words glide like silk. If sleep hasn't claimed you yet, drift with me a little farther. A playful hush colors my tone, because sometimes, when the candles burn a little lower and the night grows a little bolder, my hands like to wander beyond the edges of professional courtesy. I pause, letting the implication hum in the quiet like a hidden chord. Those tender secrets, those bolder strokes, belong to another room, another hour. My smile is audible. If curiosity keeps you awake, you'll find the rest of our story waiting for you over on Patreon. I let the thought dangle, tantalizing yet soft. The link is resting quietly in the description just for you. The suggestion fades into the hush, replaced by a final sweep of calm. For now, breathe in one more cloud of lavender, exhale every last whisper of tension, and slip beneath the surface of dreams. I let several slow breaths pass in silence, sharing the rhythm. After a generous pause, I let the words dissolve, leaving room for pure hush. Then a final whisper. Sleep well, darling. May the night cradle you kindly, and the morning greet you with calm. I linger just a heartbeat longer, breathing with you, then allow silence and candle glow to carry you the rest of the way into peaceful, unbroken dreams.